In this video, we're going to check out a couple clear cases, a front tempered glass screen protector, and some glass camera lens protectors, all for your Flip 7 made by RINGKE. I'm going to go through the full installation for the protectors. We're going to see how the cases fit and feel on the phone, and I'm also going to be doing a drop and a scratch test for the front glass and a scratch test for the camera lenses. So by the end of this video, you'll know which one of these accessories and cases are right for you. So let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to do is install the camera lens glass. The kit does come with 2 sets of camera lens protectors and some installation tools. So the first thing to do is to clean off your camera lens as well as the surrounding glass. Then dry it off and wait about a minute for the liquid to dry. Then once they're dried, just take your camera lens protectors. We're going to peel off the back cover just like that. And then just place this over your lenses and press it down into place. And then lift up on the guide. And you're all set. You can see how they kind of blend in with the back of the screen now because they are black instead of that silver. And they look like they were meant to be on the phone. They look really nice. And as far as fingerprints goes, they do seem to do a really great job at keeping down fingerprints as well. You can see there are no smudges at all. I'll take a look at the front camera. And the front camera looks nice and clear. No issues there. And then let's test out the scratch resistance of the front camera protectors. So we're going to start off our test with a number 5. Then I'll move on to a number 6. I'm going to use the same protector, but just on the other side because we only have 2. And then we'll move on to a number 7. And if we take a closer look, you can see there are no scratches where the 5 was. There are at a number 6 and about the same at a number 7. So scratch resistance is pretty standard for tempered glass. And the first case we're going to take a look at is the RINGKE Fusion Magnetic. This is a totally clear case. It does have a hard plastic backing with our MagSafe ring built in, surrounded by a rubbery type material. Another reason why I like this case is because they use these little connectors in the corners there to keep both the front and the back covers in place without the use of stickers, which I absolutely love. So the first thing you want to do is to peel off the protector that comes on the outside of your case, and there's also one on the inside as well. You can see it's nice and clear. And we'll put this in our case. And just kind of fold the top cover over the phone, and we are done. So there it is on the phone. You can see from the side that we do have a very prominent raised edge around the front of the phone to help protect your camera lenses and the screen. We also have a pretty good raised edge around the front here too. It also doesn't add a lot of extra bulk to the phone, just a little bit to give your phone some extra protection. Now, as far as the weak point, it's going to be this little piece here because it doesn't use any stickers. It does move. You may or may not care. I really don't. I don't think it's a deal breaker for me. But let's see how it feels in the hand. Opens up very easily. Feels good in the hand as well. It's got a little bit of a grip to it. And you can easily press the power button on the side. We also have our volume buttons, which are easily pressable. And no issues there. You can also see that the case is pretty flush with the inside of the screen. And we've got that little thicker plate on the bottom portion here too. And if we open and close it a couple times, a couple different areas, we can take a look and you can see that the case has not moved. The little inclusion of those little connectors definitely does help with keeping the case in place when you're opening and closing the case. The case also does have some extra protection in the corners with these little airbags in case of drops. We have all our cutouts here. I think that looks pretty nice. I like the fact that the case helps make the phone open a lot easier too, because of that the grip that it's got on the sides. It works really well. And let's check out our MagSafe. Charges your phone immediately. And as far as the hold, wow, it's got a pretty good strong hold on there as well, so you don't have to worry about your phone just kind of falling off your MagSafe accessory. Definitely a plus. Really nice case so far. And if we take a look at that hinge, you can kind of see how thick the case makes the phone. And as far as fingerprints on the bottom, there are some slight smudges. You can see right there, but not too bad. That's what you're going to get with a non-matte case. You can just wipe those away if you need. And if you happen to put your phone open down on its back here, you don't have to worry about the phone rocking back and forth, which I like. This little ridge here helps keep the phone evenly on your surface. So that's another plus. So this case looks and feels great on the phone, seems to stay in place in all the parts that it needs to, and I do like the inclusion of this kind of extra raised edge here to protect everything on the front of the phone. Now let's see how easily the case might come off the phone itself. So if we push in the corners here, you can see that with just a little slight pressure, the top part of the case does move, but it's also connected, so you don't have to worry about it totally coming off. The bottom part seems to be on there pretty good. And as far as the top and the bottom and the corners, they're on there pretty good. Let's try the other side. Yeah, same thing. The top is always the weak point. You can see it kind of comes up a little bit. Not horrible, but again, I don't think that the front cover is just going to come off because it is held in place with those little connectors. And in the corners here, it's on there pretty good. So almost everything about this case is really good. I do like the fact that it does add some pretty good protection to your phone, especially those reinforced corners. I like the raised edge around the front of the phone to protect your lenses and the screen. I like the inclusion of the MagSafe. It's got a very strong magnet on it, and it also helps you open and close your phone. The only thing that I can see as far as downsides for this case is the way that the front cover doesn't really clip onto the middle for the top protector. That is pretty much it. Other than that, I really do like this case and I would recommend it. Now let's install the tempered glass to see what that looks like on the front of the phone. So this kit comes with 2 tempered glass screen protectors, an installation guide, and some installation packets. So the first thing you need to do is to thoroughly make sure the front screen is wiped off with the included alcohol wipe. Now I do also want to mention, before we install the tempered glass screen protector, you need to make sure that the lens protectors are not on your phone because the tempered glass will not fit over them. Then we're going to peel off the underside protector. Then take your installation guide and press it over the top of your phone, just like this. And the tempered glass should start to adhere to the phone by itself. You can kind of push out any bubbles you might see, and then lift up on the guide. And of course we did get a little piece of hair underneath the screen, as well as another little piece of dust on the top here, but that's not the screen protector's fault. I'm going to try to get that hair out because it's bothering me, and I was able to get it out. So we'll just give it a little wipe here. And I think the installation went pretty well. And as you can see, the tempered glass goes almost to the edge of the screen, just leaves a little bit for the case, which we will test out in just a minute. We have cutouts for the little camera LED and the lenses, and it seems to fit perfectly. The edges are also rounded off, and the screen is nice and smooth, just like the glass on the phone. As far as fingerprints, it does pick up some fingerprints on the screen, but you can just wipe those away with minimal effort. That looks pretty good. Now let's check out the screen. You can see that the screen is nice and clear. Touch seems to be working just fine as well. No problems there. And let's take a look at the screen as if we're looking at it through polarized sunglasses to see what that looks like. And you can see that it doesn't look like there is a rainbow unless you really twist and turn it, just ever so slight. But if you're looking at it dead on, it looks pretty clear. Now let's put our phone back in our case so we can see what that looks like with the screen protector installed. And it seems to fit the case perfectly. You can see there's a slight gap on the top of the case for case compatibility, and everywhere else seems to pretty much go right up to the edge of the case. I don't see any lifting, no bubbles, so it seems to fit the case perfectly. Looks really good. So now your phone is almost protected 360 degrees. We've got this top edge here to protect the lenses and the screen protector and the bottom of the phone. The thing that's really exposed is the hinge here. And then I reinstalled the front camera lens protectors so you guys can see what that looks like too. So now your lenses, your screen, and your case are all protected, except for the hinge, of course. But I think it looks pretty cool with those lens protectors. And if we look at it from the side, you can see how much of a raised edge we still get around our phone. And then here we have the RINGKE Fusion clear case. This one does not have the MagSafe on the back, but it's exactly like the MagSafe case. It's got a nice hard backing surrounded by a softer rubbery type material. This also does have that little rubber hinge in the center to help keep the two pieces of the case together on your phone. And we also do have the clear protectors we need to just peel off before we put the case on. And we can put our phone inside the case. There are no stickers to be used, which is nice. And there it is on the case. So again, just like the Fusion Magnetic, we've got this really large raised edge on the front of the phone to help protect the lenses as well as the screen, and you can see how much of a raised edge we still get even with the tempered glass on the front of the phone. You can also see we have reinforcements in the corners here to help with drops. We have a cutout for our power button and our volume buttons. It also makes the case it also makes the phone easier to open and close. And you also don't have to worry about the case moving because it's got these hinges in the corner here. You can see that it's pretty flush with the phone. Got our cutouts on the bottom. And you can see after opening and closing the case, it still has not moved. It also does have a little bit of a grip to it, so when you hold it in your hand, you don't have to worry about it sliding out, and it just makes it a little easier to open and close your phone. That's harder to open with one hand, so I'm not going to even attempt to do that, but closing it up makes it a little bit easier too. Now I do also have the lens protectors on my phone too, just so you guys can see what that looks like in the case. And if you guys do want to wirelessly charge through this clear case, you can do that as well. I've got my charger here. Just put your phone on the charger and it'll start to charge your phone. Now there are a couple things I want to test out with this case. This little piece here is always a weak point because it's a very thin piece of plastic, so it is going to bend and flex if you push on it. But for the most part, you shouldn't really have to worry about this little piece moving here. And then if we open up the case, we'll kind of try to move the case. You can see that it kind of pops off the front of the case with just a little bit of a pressure. On the edges here, it seems to stay on the phone pretty good. And as far as the other side goes, pretty much the same thing. It doesn't have a really good strong hold in the middle here, but on the top, well, this one corner, yeah, it seems to be on there, but you can push it off with moderate pressure. But I don't think it's just going to come off the phone. So another pretty nice clear case. It does have a really nice lip to protect the front screen and the lenses on your phone. It does keep your phone protected, makes it a lot easier to open and close. The only downside, again, that I could see that it doesn't really hold on very good in the middle of the phone. But that is pretty much it. So we're going to start off our test with a 2.4 ounce steel metal ball at a starting height of 2 feet. If the screen protector doesn't crack, we'll move it up foot by foot until it eventually does. So here we go at 2 feet. Moving on to 3 feet. 4 feet. 4 feet. All right, this screen protector lasted up until a 4-foot drop. Now let's move on to the scratch test. Now regular tempered glass starts to scratch around Mohs hardness number 6, so we're going to start off our test with a number 5. Then we'll move on to a number 6. And then finally a number 7. And if we take a closer look, you can see that there are no scratches at the number 5. There are slight at a number 6 and a little bit deeper at a number 7. So scratch resistance is standard for tempered glass. So as far as the lens protector and the front tempered glass, I really do like those. I think they complement and look really good on the phone. They're also going to keep your lenses and front screen protected. I do like the Fusion MagSafe because they got some MagSafe accessories, and it also does have a really strong hold on the case. The only downsides that I can see for both of these cases are the little weak points in the middle here where it doesn't really clip down on the phone. That's the only downside that I could see for these cases. Does that really bother you guys? Let me know in the comments below. Like I mentioned before, I don't think that even though these are slightly, less holding in the center of the case, that the case is just going to fall off on a day-to-day use. But I do think if you're going to press on it when it's open like this, it might pop up a little bit, but once you close it, it should go right back down on the phone itself. So if you guys do want to pick these up, I will be putting product links in the video description. And if you guys enjoyed the video, please let me know by hitting that like button and consider subscribing. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.